Continuing the 70s musical theme, this video discusses the late Alan Parker's 1976 gangster comedy, Bugsy Malone. Set during the Roaring Twenties in New York, loosely reflecting genuine prohibition-based events, while opting for the experimental decision to cast exclusively child actors in adult roles, incidentally replacing weapons with confectionery. These ideas will be elaborated on in more detail, beginning with plot. When a new weapon hits the streets, a power struggle between mob bosses Fat Sam and Dandy Dan escalates. Sam's associate, boxing scout Bugsy Malone, Bugsy Malone, that would have been a good title for this film, occasionally assists the aforementioned gangster while interacting with his mole Tallulah and becoming better acquainted with aspiring singer Blousey Brown. The plot is rife with surprising complications amplified by rich cinematography and a polished Art Deco aesthetic. The conflict being between two criminals adds a subdued dark maturity, and the replacement of bullets with cream balls and pies allows for a measure of tension and consequence, typically inappropriate in a family movie. The idea is likely more traumatic for anyone who's been pursued by a child dressed as a 1920s gangster wielding a pie, and to those victims I say, sorry, I've learnt the error of my ways, now I only throw pies at strangers while dressed as a 1920s gangster on Wednesdays. Every other day I do it as a 1930s gangster. The effectiveness of the film's humour and tension is in part thanks to the performances. As mentioned earlier, all actors are children and in spite of their youth show huge capability, confidence and understanding of the intended tone, playing their roles with a certain mature restraint coupled with clear enthusiasm. Scott Baio in the title role, John Cassisi's irritable Fat Sam, the late Martin Lev's calmly intimidating Dandy Dan, and renowned actress Jodie Foster in an early role as Tallulah are particularly noteworthy. Florence Garland, then Florence Duggar, showed similar potential in her only film role. As a result of being filmed in England by an English writer-director, many performers are retroactively recognisable faces from British film and TV, such as Doctor Who and EastEnders star Bonnie Langford, and actor-writer-director Dexter Fletcher. Every cast member shows a clear sense of comic timing, which is particularly beneficial to the comedy. Humour is varied and is often found within the relentlessly subversive parodying of gangster movie tropes, which collaborates with the film's casual surrealism. The idea of children playing adults is further embraced by the decision to make every car pedal operated, and the confectionery-based ammunition adds a distinctive advanced form of slapstick to proceedings. The film also displays some brilliantly swift, considered, sarcastic banter, which feels natural thanks to the already heightened dialogue. The zestful nature of the script is also channeled through the music. The songs by Paul Williams, also responsible for the music in the previously reviewed Phantom of the Paradise and The Muppet Movie, strikes an artful balance between lovingly capturing the feel of the era and adding an exciting modern tempo. The songs range from sorrowful to joy, and with each one comes a satisfying rhyming structure. And all elements ensure the soundtrack enormously enhances the viewing experience. The numbers are sang by adult vocalists with the child actors miming, despite all spoken words being delivered by the child actors on screen. This was a decision rehearsal time constraints essentially forced, and one Alan Parker mentioned regretting, wishing that the kids were given an opportunity to sing in hindsight. Luckily, however, the result perfectly complements the film's bizarre manner, and while hugely enjoyable, this flick does present certain lesser points. While the film's gimmick is typically a positive feature, it does invite certain illogical factors and inconsistencies. The actual effects of the weapons are ill-defined and conveniently fluctuate to suit the plot. Alan Parker later explained certain confusing details, though no explanations exist within the film itself. Additionally, since the adults in this universe look like children, what do the children look like in this universe? Would they just look like embryos? Also, one scene does seem to feature an adult actress. So, is her character meant to be like 1,000? It's implied she's the mother of a baby, and that is quite old for childbirth. Maybe she was 999 when she was actually giving birth to the baby. That makes sense. Also, Bugsy at one point quotes On the Waterfront, a 1954 film despite this being in the 20s. These issues become far less distracting since the film essentially creates the impression of kids playing a very lavish gangster-themed playground game, and kids doing such a thing would form inconsistent rules. Therefore, it's unlikely that the audience of children this film was intended for would even notice these errors, even though I did as a child, apart from the on the waterfront one. Luckily, these flaws are overpowered by the film's many assets, which will be reiterated during the conclusion. The Roaring Twenties musical numbers, bumbling villains whose idiocy far outweighs their villainy, and casual bizarreness are several qualities I'm typically drawn to in creative works that are professionally displayed in Bugsy Malone. Its performances, humour, plot, energy and uniqueness means it holds appeal for older and younger viewers, and actually serves as a valid introduction to the gangster genre for viewers yet to reach the age where they can suitably experience the obscene language and violence usually found within films of this ilk. It's available on YouTube, but the quality is undesirable, and with it seemingly absent from streaming sites, at least in the UK, purchase may be the best option for any interested in watching or rewatching. Thanks for watching, and if I don't see you next time, I'll assume you've been pursued by someone dressed as a 1920s gangster holding a pie. I promise you it wasn't me. Unless this happened on a Wednesday, then it probably was me. We could have been anything that we wanted to be, with all the talent we had. No doubt about it, we whined and we pout it. We're the very best at being bad guys. We're rotten to the core. My congratulations, no one likes you anymore. Bad guys, we're the very worst. Each of us contemptible, we're criticized and coerced.